of college curriculums, there's pretty much a timeline of the literature that you have to look at. So you have to look at literature probably before the 1800s, then after the 1800s, and then on into the 19th and 20th centuries. And even, of course, there are writers now, and there are classes now where they're focusing on literature of the 21st century as well. So you have to have a particular timeline of all the literatures to be introduced to. It's a good question. Any other questions?
What about foreign languages? Would you have to study foreign languages too?
Yes, you do. I had to take Spanish when I was in undergrad, and then when I got to graduate school, I actually had to take Latin. And some people may be thinking, well, Latin, isn't that a dead language? Latin is actually very much alive because a lot of the words that we use in English come from Latin, a lot of the root words.
Oh, that's right. The Latin teacher?
They're Latin based.
Yeah.
Prefixes and suffixes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
What about publishing stuff?
Publishing stuff. Oh, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
What do you mean, like in terms of like scholarly articles? Do you mean like books like poetry and your own writing, like nonfiction?
Yeah, kind of, no, more like fiction, yeah.
More like fiction. Actually, what you would do, gosh, through your graduate, probably your graduate program or even an undergraduate, what you would have to do is basically become a well-known writer. So one thing that you want to do is obviously do well in your classes. And there are people like particular professors that you can talk to when you get to college that are actually writers themselves. You could talk with them about ways that you could publish. There's a lot of fiction competitions that you could participate in order to get your name out there. All right. So I wish I knew a little bit more. I wish I could be a fiction writer like that, but I'm looking at more academic stuff. But it all ties into the same thing. That's a really good question. Okay. All right. Well, I think that'll wrap it up for now. I enjoyed working with you all this morning. Y'all have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, very good. We have a few more minutes. If you would just bear with us for a few more minutes. We have someone here with UT Arlington. He's in our admissions. He's going to tell you exactly what office, because we have several offices in admissions and recruitment. His name is Andrew Dohanek. I may have messed it up, but he's going to come and share with you about admissions. And seniors, it's very important. Juniors, sophomores, all of you, is very important to kind of pay attention to what he tells you. Okay? All right.
Thank you. Guys, be quiet.
How's everyone doing?
Very good. Yourself?
I'm doing great, thank you. My name's Andrew Dehaniak. I am an admissions counselor with UT Arlington's Office of Undergraduate Recruitment. I actually work primarily with people from the Waco, Killeen, Austin area. That's my territory. I'm always on the road doing that. I work with both freshman students and transfer students. And so I guess what I want to briefly talk about here is the application process, how admissions works, and kind of what you need to be thinking about. Okay? With UT Arlington, our process, what we utilize, the common application that all Texas public schools utilize at applytexas.org. With this website, you can apply to basically any other public university in the state of Texas with one application. That's what we utilize. And so whenever you're a senior, be it right now or in a few years, that's where you'll go to for us and any other public school to go apply. You'll go on there, you fill out your application. It's pretty easy. With UT Arlington, we're here to help you with any parts of the process. That's definitely probably the biggest part is getting that done. Then what else we typically need is we need an official high school transcript. We look at class rank, which is pretty important to us. So we'll get that. We'll look at your class rank. We'll also need your test scores. Look at SAT or ACT. Now the tests are a little different. You can take whichever test you prefer. I took both. I did much better in the ACT as compared to the SAT, and some people it's vice versa. So definitely if you can, try and take them both. We also see that if you take, let's say, the SAT multiple times, your score tends to get a little bit better each time you take it, up to about 3 times. And so yet again, if you're able to, try and take that test a few times and improve your score. We definitely see that all the time. Like I said, I know with myself, my score, had a nice little jump that second time I took it. And so, with us, once we have your test scores, your transcripts, and your application, have all that here, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get a decision. Other schools may be a little bit different. They may look at items outside of test scores and class rank, maybe what you're doing in school, programs like you're participating in right now. That's definitely something to include in all your applications. With us, once we have all your information, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks before you get a decision back to find out if you're in or not. We really look at class rank and test score. If you're in the top 25% of your class, you can really score whatever whatever on the SAT or ACT. There's no minimum. You're automatically admitted if you're in the top quarter of your class, which is it's pretty neat. So yeah, that's our basic freshman requirements and the basic elements of the process. What I would recommend doing, no matter where you decide to go to school, really try and visit as many different places as you can. Take opportunities if they're presented to you to go just check out different college campuses. Everyone's a little bit different. They offer different things. Yeah. You may not want to be in a big city. You may want to be in a small college town, or vice versa. You may want a big campus. UT Arlington, we're about 28,000 students. That's pretty big number, but big enough to have all the programs you want, but small enough you're getting good face time with professors and whatnot. So like I said, my biggest recommendation is definitely to visit as many places as you can. I think that's so important. Right now, if you're a junior or sophomore, try and take as much math and science as you can. I think that's so incredibly important. We hear that from, all the different areas on campus. Be it our science department, engineering. Everyone just, we see you do good and take a lot of math and science, and that just looks really good. And most schools are like that as well. And then, really just work on those study habits, now before you get into college. One thing we find with professors, they say a lot of freshmen who come in aren't prepared to, don't know how to study for, those couple hours, it takes every day or more, depending on their major. And really kind of build those habits now, putting in, at least a little bit every night. It'll go a long way to, making it a lot easier when you get to school. Because I think a lot of freshmen, they go through that process that they start cramming for that very first round of tests that they have, and they learn that that's not the way you can function in college here. Most schools, they have different scholarship programs and stuff. I know with us, you have to be admitted by February 15th. That means have all your stuff into us, apply at least by mid-January. We have different scholarships that range from $2,000 a year to $8,000 a year. Really great programs. We look at your class rank and test score. I know many of the public institutions in Texas have a need-based program like we do. We have the Maverick Promise program where we look at your family income, and if you're eligible for the Pell Grant and different factors like that, where we'll pay for tuition and fees for you for 4 years as long as you maintain a certain GPA, and that's you need to maintain like a 2.0. And need-based program, great program. A lot of our students are using it. I always encourage students to look into that. Really, I would just suggest researching what you want to do when you get to college. What kind of majors you're looking at, and talk to people in those majors. I think that the more information you receive and you get before coming here, the better that